Hey, welcome everybody. Enterprise AI Pulse. Michael, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Michael, for those of you that have tuned into this channel before, into this podcast, you realise that it's normally Jimmy and I that are doing this. Jimmy has dumped me, and then the second person that came along was supposed to be John Orrick, who we will get on the show eventually. He's dumped me as well. And Michael has very kindly jumped in at the last minute, so thank you for that.
Lucky number 3.
Lucky number 3, correct, thank you. Right, so the normal way that we do this is we tell you a little bit about what's happened in the news over the last 7 days or last 12 days. And the biggest things that are out there at the moment, I would say, is about deals going on. So the first one is that Anthropic has got out of a court proceeding or got an arrangement on a court proceeding to pay $1.5 billion for the books they used to train Anthropic. So what's interesting about that is it's about $3,000 a book that they've paid to train Anthropic. So when we say training, as everybody should know on this channel, it's what you do to actually get a big OpenAI model to work, right? And so you train on a whole bunch of data, and the data they used was 45,000 books to start with, or that were copyrighted, and now they've had to pay $3,000 a book to do it. So we've got a number now on how much it's going to cost people for licensing data. Other things out there, sort of big numbers. So Anthropic models were added into Microsoft 365 Copilot, so that's good. Once again, Anthropic, the same group that's sort of really competing with OpenAI to be the best in the market. You've got other big numbers. So NVIDIA is just planning to spend $100 billion with OpenAI to be able to create a lot of GPUs. And then lastly, $6.5 billion OpenAI has paid to CoreWeave. Now, CoreWeave, I didn't know who CoreWeave was. You may not know either, Michael, but CoreWeave is one of the major providers of the infrastructure that all these things run on. They're called GPUs, right? Graphic processing units. So the things that used to run games, normal video games from NVIDIA, those are being stuck in data centers. The electricity comes along to power them up, and they're just massive. And so the biggest player in the market is Microsoft Azure, from public notices that I can see. There's 485,000 of these chips in the data centers they've got globally. CoreWeave is number 2, arguably number 2. Might be AWS, but it's probably CoreWeave. They're at 250,000, and they're the people that have just done the deal for another $6.5 billion worth of NVIDIA chips for OpenAI specifically. So OpenAI is sort of going out on their own, yeah? They used to be linked with Microsoft. They still are linked with Microsoft, but they're also going out their own. And Anthropic getting on Microsoft 365 is an example of now Microsoft going, okay, well, if you're going to do something on yourself, we'll do our own as well. So there's all sorts of interesting, as I said at the start, deals going on. And then there's big numbers, and then there's the small numbers. So XAI, which is Grok, and what used to be called Twitter, or their AI, of course, attached to that, everything's X in this group, they have sold 18 months worth of AI to the US government across 18 agencies for 42 cents an agency. 42 cents.
Wow.
Yeah. Why?
Why?
Well, because someone else, I'm not sure whether it was Microsoft or OpenAI or Anthropic or someone, sold it for like 50 cents recently. So now they're undercutting it by 8 cents, the agency. So there's some ridiculous things going on as well. And sort of that's sort of what is happening in the marketplace at the moment. Very big numbers, settlements in court cases, and sort of interesting deals going on, and then very small numbers. So, Michael, that's the news that we've got. Oh, sorry, there's one more. Meta has launched Vibes. Now, Vibes is their ability to create short videos. Have you used it yet? You're nodding there. No, you haven't?
No, I haven't.
You're not really a social media person, are you?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. No. So you have heard of Meta. Right. So Meta owns Instagram and Facebook and a few other things, I think, as well. And they will be able to create now, rather than just taking videos of yourself and pasting it up there like we are, you'll be able to generate inside of Meta your own AI video. So the level of junk is just increasing at an astronomical rate. And now Meta is helping that happen.
Yeah, wow. I saw this song last night. It was a 50 Cent song done in jazz by AI, and it's got over 100, maybe a couple 100 million views on Spotify. Wow. And it was like incredible.
Well, that actually sounds quite good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether this agent can do that, but I mean, so that's not junk.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a good song.
No. All right. So that's the news, Michael. The thing I would like to, though, do, and which gets into our next segment, is I start asking some questions. I start interviewing you. Now, how about I explain who Michael is? So Michael joined us a few years ago into our consulting business called Adaptivate, which is a global consulting business that helps large organisations transform. And about the last 12 months, he's been working with us in a business called Enterprise AI. And then most recently, he's joined as an employee of Enterprise AI, left Adaptivate and moved into Enterprise AI about 3 or 4 months ago to be our product manager, which for us is really exciting. But I wanted to ask you, is it exciting?
Yeah, it's been great. 3 months feels like it's been 5 years at this point.
Yeah. But people say that about working with me, Michael.
No, it's been really good learning experience. It's different moving from the consulting space to a startup where things go from focused on trying to really make sure that you're putting together a really strong output that you can explain and defend and make sure it's accurate, to the startup world where it's much more about, let's figure out what our priority is, how do we drive forward at that, and being really comfortable with the fact that there's a lot of things that we'd like to be doing, but we just can't do them because we don't have the resources, we don't have the time, and we need to focus on what's most important. So it's been a bit of a mindset change for me from that standpoint, but it's been really interesting, and I think works with the way that I like to think about things and the way I like to structure the way I do things. So it's been a really good first few months.
Now, I'm going to jump into something you said to me last week, where you said after a fairly long day at work, you went and, like, I can't remember the exact word you used, but beated some golf balls. So tell me a little bit about how you relax after a hard day of trying to work in the startup world from a product management perspective.
Yeah, I'm a big golfer, so I like to go to the driving range, throw in some angry Eminem music, and hit golf balls as hard as I can until I'm done. But no, it's been really good. We've had some big RFPs that we've been working on that have been really exciting. A lot of hard work in the last few weeks, which has been good. And yeah, I spend the time kind of burning off the steam after work playing golf.
Sounds good. And tell me a little bit about being a product manager and sort of really trying to understand what the customers want so that we can build the best product we possibly can.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is how important it is to get the product in front of the customer as quickly as possible. We oftentimes will be sitting in a room, someone will come up with an idea, we'll all agree that it's a really good idea, and will be immediately put into our product and something that's going to be an absolute game changer. And then we show it to someone the next day and they have no idea how it works or why anyone would ever do that. And the customer doesn't understand why that would be part of the product. So I think that's kind of the most interesting thing, is trying to get testing from customers as soon as possible so we can immediately figure out if whatever it is that we've come up with, whatever it is that we're building, is actually valuable.
And so you're not saying the customer designs a product for you, right? Or you are?
No, I'm not saying they design it for us, but we need their input, and we need to make sure that if we're coming up with solutions to the problems that they have, that we can see objectively that they're going to solve that problem. So we're constantly trying to get the product in front of them, see how they interact with it, see what things they would touch, see what things would add value for them, and make sure that whatever we build is actually driving value for them, not just something that we think is cool to look at or something that's flashy or bells and whistles.
And tell me a little bit about, can you give me an example of sort of that?
Yeah, definitely.
Just to put some meat on the bones.
So I'd say one of the things that we've been building is staff workflows for councils, where we can actually help staff use AI to augment their development application assessment process. And so we added, at the beginning of the process, we added AI where AI would automatically sort of fill out some of the documents for them. And when we showed that to the council members, that just was terrifying, right? They sort of saw that and they said, okay, well, we have no control over this. We don't know how the AI is going to actually fill out this piece of information. There's no oversight. And so that piece of knowledge that we got across multiple different council staff members that we spoke with really kind of guided the way we thought about building the product. Specifically now, all of the AI that we put into the product is to augment the work that they're doing so that we can use the power of AI to actually drive the value for them in terms of speed and making sure that what they're delivering is done faster, but then keeping the human in the loop controls so that they always have the ability to have oversight over it, make sure it's compliant and really safe and use it in the best way possible.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. Thank you. So, look, these are only supposed to be sort of 15, 20-minute things, Michael. So I'm going to start closing. But what I did want to ask is, as a product manager, if you were talking to somebody that was going to start your job, 4 months ago, like it was, or 3 months ago, what did you think was going to be really important and wasn't, and what you didn't think about that was important that you would explain to people? So sort of both sides of it. What's the advice you'd give?
So I think in terms of what I didn't realize would be so important would be just being comfortable with not being able to do things that you want to do. We look at our product and there's a lot of things in there that are really exciting that we want to fix, but we need to prioritize the things that are going to drive the most value first. So I think being comfortable with not being able to do everything and focusing on the right things. I think from a what did I expect but didn't have happen would be I expected it to be a real big focus on knowing exactly what we needed to do and then driving that sort of plan or roadmap. And I think one of the things in this space in particular is it's adapting so fast that in 2 months' time, the capabilities that we have might be completely different than what they are today. And so we just constantly need to be evaluating the roadmap. And so the idea of having a roadmap that's 6 months long that you can just drive to is not realistic in this space. So we're focused on, the big difference is that you need to be comfortable with just constantly changing pace and updating them.
The rate of update of technology is just out of control, isn't it? Like, who I was talking the other day, and we were talking about a new piece of technology that just came out, and it does similar to what we do, but we'd sort of written 5,000 lines of code and connected a whole bunch of different things to make it happen. And now one of the large companies had come out, specifically Microsoft, and said, hey, this is a new thing we've created, and it does 80% of what we need, and all we need now is like a couple of hundred lines of code. And that's just a classic example of what you're talking about, that we just need to be in it and on it the whole time to make sure that we're in the right spot. Thank you very much today, Michael, for stepping in.
Thanks for having me.
And appreciate to everybody out there. Another week of news and another new person in Enterprise AI that you get to find out a little bit about. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Cheers, buddy.